Hi everyone, welcome to this third video module of organizational development. So in this module, we are going to understand who is a change agent in the organizational context as far as need to bring changes in the organization system. So in this direction, the present module is prepared to make you learn about the different avenues and different the sources how those influence the people to act as change agent and change makers. So from that perspective, if you just look at the need for development, so when we want to bring change, when the change is necessary, so then the change is towards the development. The change needs to be towards the development. So the changing the nature of the workforce is one major the reason for thinking about the development, and the rapidly changing technology is another one, and the economic the changes and the changes in the social trends. So these are the four major aspects. Based on that, we just derive the need of the change. So when the change is required, and then the change we need to direct towards the development, who will bring the change, and who is actually agent for change, right? The change agent is the individual or a group who undertakes the tasks of introducing and then managing a change in an organization. So that is in a simplest way, whoever is responsible, right, and taking the responsibility to introduce and then manage the changes in the organization. That is generally the managers. So the change agent can be internal or even sometimes external also. So keeping in mind these aspects, so we are just looking at the change agent roles. So if we just look at the internal the change agents, so that is the employees of the organizations who have the responsibility to manage or bring changes. And advantage is know the past history and then political system and then culture, and must live with the results of the change. Will move carefully. So that is the advantage of internal change agents. Sometimes you will find, so we just hire and then we just take the assistance of external people, right? And then so that is a different aspect. And but here, so when we are hiring the internal, when we are using the internal employees as a change agent, so sometimes you find disadvantage also. Disadvantages may be associated with the with the factions, and then accuse of favoritism. So you can see that that is the another reason. So maybe the too close to the situation to the where we have to come out with some kind of change. So these are the some reasons works adversely when you want to bring change in the organizations. When you look at the external the change agent, so advantage is outsiders objective in view, and then impartial in bringing the changes. So disadvantage is a limited knowledge of the organization's history and may be viewed with the suspicions. So you'll find that is the disadvantage. So then at the same time, to succeed, they must be the perceived as the trustworthy and be experts with the proven track records and be similar to those they are working with as far as their consultancy and the services are concerned. So with this, you can see the change agents within the organizations, and then sometimes from outside also. So further, if you just look at the theory of the Forcefield analysis proposed by the Kurt Lewins, so these forces the managed by the managers. So these forces are divided into two categories. The first category is called the positive forces, and then the second one is the negative forces. So the forces in the sense, the motivating factors and demotivating factors. Right, the negative forces are demotivating and which are working against the employees' the productivity, and then the positive forces are encouraging and motivating, and then employees get the lot of support from these factors. And then so when these two forces are meeting, the meeting point is called equilibrium, and that the point reflects the productivity level of the organizations. So here, when you want to bring some change in the productivity, change in the performance of the organizations, some managers are going to bring changes in the forces. Right. So the negative forces are bringing down the productivity and performance of the organizations. Right. So in that case, the managers, they're supposed to decrease the strength of the negative forces and increase the positive forces. Right. If you see the arrows from the down to up, so they are the positive, and then the arrows from the top to the down, they are the negative forces. So the negative forces needs to be less in the organization so that we can increase the productivity. So calculating this the negative forces the strength, and then the positive forces strength, and identifying the point where these two are meeting, and then changing these forces, so that is the responsibility of the managers. So in that context, you can see the Forcefield analysis is very much useful for the managers to just bring changes by changing the forces, both positive and negative, as far as increasing in performance of the organizations. So with this, let me just stop here, and then looking forward to meet you in the next video.